All right, so episode 81.
81.
Or, Owen, season 2, episode 29.
No Lego for you.
Or white rice. There was a white rice that I said he liked for some reason. Okay, so today we had Benny Ennis talking about
Benny.
axes. Everything to do with axe throwing.
Yes.
At axeclub.ie, am I right in saying that?
Indeed, yeah, it was my pleasure.
Phew, thank God I got that
Thank
right there. Geez, we learned so much. I got back to my Celtic roots. Look at my t-shirt even and all.
Thought you were going to say something else there?
Definitely, the room here feels a lot more masculine than the first time I walked in here anyway.
It does. Yeah,
More masculined. Yeah.
Not that that's a good thing or anything. We just...
That's how you feel,
with our
John, that's
Celtic
okay.
roots.
Hang on. I think I have more hair on my chest. I can feel it. I feel a little fluffy under there.
I think I'm growing boobs after eating those and the last few weeks.
You're not meant to say
Oh no!
I've done it again!
Beep it.
Actually, it was John last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had the Chocolate Bar World Cup round 5.
Yeah, and we're not going to reveal what chocolate bars that we had in there.
No.
I'm actually going to beep that out.
Yeah, let's beep it.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's stick a name in this, shall we?
Yes, let's do it. I have two.
Okay.
I have two as well. And
I've got one.
I think we all have the same one.
I'm going to go first.
No.
Yes.
So my suggestion is for this episode, Swell Knob.
Yes.
It'll pay dividends.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
Right, Bertie, what do you think?
That is good, but the original ones I had, maybe they're not as good. But I had AxeMan Origins.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Yeah. So playing on the old, X-Men.
Yeah.
And then I had AxeMan.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I'm still sticking with Swell Knob.
Well, I think the thing about like Swell Knob, the history behind the Swell Knob,
Right.
and the way Benny described the Swell Knob, I think people would like to learn about what the Swell Knob is.
And
So I'm going to call it the Swell Knob as
And
well.
I would look after your Swell Knob.
I think so.
So,
Benny,
Benny.
what do you think? Do you have any name suggestions?
But I suppose like the axe anatomy side of things is definitely worth weighing in on. And as far as the Celtic roots and how masculine the room has gotten as such, if there's such a thing as tapping into your Celtic kind of, intuition, if you're an Irish person born and bred, Ireland is named after a mother goddess, after all. If feeling like you're part of, this Erin's Isle as such, is being masculine and just being a bit of a mammy's boy, or ultimately looking after our sisters out there who are all lovely outdoor folk.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I sound like a bit of a swell knob. But
I thought that was leading somewhere.
we were going to cut you off right there, man. We were going to cut you off.
Yeah. So
we were going to pull the plug.
I think we have the name for the podcast
Yeah.
for this week. It's yet again a filthy, dirty name.
Is it Benny Swell Knob or just Swell
filthy
Knob?
dirty.
Oh, that's even better. Right, okay.
Are
we going with that?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Benny's
We have
Swell
to ask
Knob.
him if he's okay with that. Is that name okay?
To be honest,
Your parents are going to like, what podcast are you on?
Yet again.
Come on, we've gone so long.
We did this to
Let's do
another
it.
guy as well, actually, per Kingsley.
consider AxeMan Origins perhaps over Swell Knob being associated with my first ever podcast with you fine individuals.
Okay, well let's let you name it. It's season 2, episode 29, Owen, or episode 81.
Benny.
AxeMan Origins.
AxeMan Origins. He knows. I love that song.
Yeah.
I do love that song so much.
I love that saying.
Oh, I love that saying too.
Also-
When you say that.
I love to hear you say the saying that you say at the start of this podcast.
If only we were popular enough to have a merch store.
We do have a merch store. Would you shut up?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Lincoln story.
Link in the bio.
Oh, can you do that live? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because we don't do it at all anyway.
Okay.
Our link tree is in our bio, and you can find all the fabulous ways to communicate with us.
By
Right
our
up there
amazing.
on our Instagram.
Our t-shirts are what, 152 euro, is it?
Yeah.
Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
Only the
Nothing
best.
printed, just pennies t-shirts.
They are.
Yeah. Yes. Worn twice by Owen.
Yeah. So you can
They'd sell for a lot more than 150
You can
euro.
s-
if they
no,
were.
you can
so-
smell what the studio's like, get a good
Yeah.
scent of own.
Each t-shirt been
Yeah.
worn underneath a jumper.
Not good. Bertie.
Hello, everybody.
There he is.
It is episode 81.
Mm.
Last week was episode 80, where we talked to Rob about stuff that Rob knows.
Rob Matthews is from Kildalkey in County Meath, and his area of expertise was bike to work and getting a bike and being a beginner cyclist. I
Yeah.
guess.
He inspired me because the next day I bought a bike.
Yeah, straight out the next morning.
And that night I had to ring him to come over and help me pump up the tires.
It's a very handy thing.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
And then the next day we seen you in the Ross.
Yeah, in the Ross, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, my wonderful editing skills.
That's it. Last week's episode was Pucker Right, so if you have to listen to it, please go back and listen to it. And also, if you haven't listened to the other
Good
79, 80 episodes, go back to it as well. Although the sound quality does get better, so keep with it if you listen to the first one.
Yeah.
But as been told recently, the first one's a classic. Well,
It
for
is.
everyone around Trim anyway.
Yeah.
It is a classic.
It's
yeah.
an NFT now. It's downloaded and
Yeah, that's...
What does that mean?
a non-fungible token.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
On the spot there. He
It's
was.
like crypto.
Oh,
Hmm.
I thought it was down to fuck. Anyway, make sure to rate, like,
Jesus.
share, follow, and
Skip
subscribe
by
to the podcast wherever you see us. You can email us as always, but only if you're a real person. We know all about you, Nicole.
Oh, no. Can't say your name.
Oh my god, oh beep. The JB Waffle Hour at the JB Waffle Hour at gmail.com, and we are on the Instagrams as well on the JB Waffle Hour. And as I said, link in bio for all the other stuff to find us on Spotify. I think we're on Amazon Music, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter.
You're on TikTok. Me and John aren't on TikTok.
Yeah, I've kind of dropped the ball a bit on TikTok, just with the videos and stuff.
Are you a bit too old for TikTok now, in fairness?
Well, I just thought it was another stream to try and get some people listening to us.
Hmm.
So we're almost at that magic 5,000 number stream. Come on, 5,000. Oh.
Is
We need a bit of scandal. That's to get us on TikTok, like as get a video viral. We need one of us like to jump up on the table naked during the video.
That's what I'd say. Our For You page is like,
Yeah.
JB Waffler, cows, some girls dancing. And
Scotty doing the helicopter. The video is up now, by the way.
Rick rolling you.
With a good classic dance tune. What's that? Come With Me, no?
I'm not a dance aficionado, I don't think.
No,
I
what was that
apologise
song?
for Bertie's singing.
Dance song? Anybody?
Auto-tune that there.
Okay.
Anyway, today, to use his Instagram as a way of introducing him, we have Benny Ennis with us. Irish woodsman trapped in the city, studying forestry and throwing axes. That is a hell of a title.
Loves a bit of wood.
Why, hello. Yeah.
Hey.
I've never heard that read out loud before. That sounded way cooler when I wrote it down.
It's very cool.
It is.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, and thank you very much for having me.
And he's
on
got the
podcast.
hat and the shirt to match his bio as
You
well.
do look.
We actually do have a merch store, axeclub.ie, so check us out. Yeah,
That's
like,
so
Ah.
There is
There
a
you
question I've wanted to ask for a long, long time before I met someone like this. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
it's comparable to how much oil a gumboil
Okay.
could boil. If a gumboil could boil oil.
Oh, touche.
Yeah,
There's a comeback.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, the summary is quite literally that is exactly what I've been doing in the last year and a half, or at the very least since maybe last January. I commenced a forestry course with UCD. I'm temporarily on a leave of absence, just dealing with adult stuff as being a mature student. Sucks.
Yeah.
But I'll be back in September committing to a forestry course that hopefully will get me into a forest manager position within Quilch in maybe 5 or 6 years. But until then, I plan on being in Dublin City throwing axes at least every Tuesday for the league nights, and then every weekend for the open sessions we run at Axe Club Dub.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Axe Club Dub
So
is an
smooth,
awesome
isn't he, on the mic? He's so smooth.
So smooth.
So, was this something that you were inclusive of the forestry? Is this something you felt that you were kind of called to? You're living in the city. Did you? And you see it in your bio as well. You use the word trapped. Is that something that you really felt that in Dublin you felt trapped by being in the city?
Ooh, not to get all philosophical actually, but just I think it's something that maybe our entire generation, Irish people as such, we're great people for emigrating every time the proverbial hits the fan as such. So when we end up in a city environment, it's generally, we still have very fond memories of living in the countryside, or we have relatives in the countryside. We have that free spirit where we want to be able to at least go out and enjoy the outdoors as much as possible. And while in the city, I did find myself drawn to the axe throwing as a nice social space. Like, the guys that set it up are very much bushcraft instructors. They are woods people. They've got their own little venue out in Wicklow, and that as well is a great asset for anyone. Not to plug every single thing about the company, but as an asset goes, like, axe throwing is lovely, but heading out to Wicklow and talking to guys who know their bushcraft skills, who understand nature, and also will show you how to throw loads of other kinds of axes, like tomahawks, double bits. There's stuff out there that you get to throw at big old hunks of wood and it sticks in sometimes.
Awesome,
Nice.
That's about as much as.
So it's good. Would it be good for anger management, as in releasing some anger and stuff?
Good for managing anger as opposed to releasing it, because it does take a calming kind of you have to get the technique down. And although 90% of the people that we have coming into the venues are all looking for rage rooms, actually. So
it's about
Valentine's weekend was a lot of girls groups just like, we're looking for a rage room. This was the closest thing to it.
Rage room.
Do they exist?
Not in this country. Apparently recycling all the material is a goddamn nightmare. But over in the States, where they just landfill the crap out of everything, every city's got like 10 of them on each block.
Wow. That's insane. And so what was it about axe throwing in particular? Is it something that you kind of fell into? Did you see it on social media, or what was it?
Funny story, I guess. Over the last 5 years, this is where it gets into the whole what it's like living in a city, especially during COVID. So a lot of people would have felt quite trapped in their small limited space apartments. For me, I've always kind of just found ways to get out of the city. During COVID though, I was working for a large local semiconductor company, and it was in my background. I wanted to work in sustainable energy, loved all the idea of like actually being paid to be a field engineer or researcher or technician. It didn't matter whether it was water sampling or working on a wind turbine. It was just, my intention was to eventually get out of the city. And during COVID, I made a decision to get a mortgage, to wipe the slate clean on having all these odd jobs of going into a bank and them looking at me just being like, there's no way you have a stable income. So I got a stable income, and then I quit as soon as the mortgage was signed.
Nice.
Beautiful.
High five.
Yeah, well done.
But within that, it was a great opportunity, and I just got the sentiment from the guys that were setting it up that they were sincere. They weren't looking to set up a new trend. They just kind of saw that it was popular in a lot of cities, and they were trying to round out their own bushcraft experience. And I just happened to live close enough and be mad enough and have the experience in events and hospitality enough that I could just kind of go in there and just learn how to axe throw and then do the rest of the job. I think if Matt and Heath are listening, I hope that's what you perceive I'm doing. but yeah, and also it is, as John pointed out, the anger management side of it, it is quite therapeutic to have something physical to do, whether you go to the gym, whether you play sports with friends. The axe throwing kind of thing as well, I don't know what got me started. I have considered this, and I think it was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. There was a dude in that at least I think in one of the opening scenes, as in the like early 90s, early 80s or late 80s kind of TV shows where they have that scene where everyone's smiling at the camera with their name up. One dude just like kicks open the door and like throws an axe at a wall, and I must have seen that at the wrong time of my young life.
Or right
Too
time.
many times. Or right time. It just took me 20 years to get back on the horse. But yeah, like just the axe throwing vibe, I guess. It's just it's part of hand tool skills, sportsmanship, getting a new skill, a new technique, and also just having something cathartic to do with mates. And the social space as well is pretty wicked, whether you're in the Dublin City Centre venue, you head out to Wicklow on a hike, maybe and round out the day with it, or, and this is my favourite new part, is when I joined the company, the guys already had the ball rolling on this, but I'm now the mobile range manager. So bringing this thing to festivals, weddings, funerals, if that's the vibe.
It's not the coffin on the other end of the throwing range, is it, though?
But like everything from like hen parties and stag parties have frequented the venue lately.
Wow.
But you get a lot of like family meetups, like four or five generations of a family will wing it in, and like the matriarch, the great grandmother, could be like nailing the bullseye, and it's It's better than watching a child walk for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if your own child walking for them, but just in general, seeing kids like fail at standing up compared to seeing a grandmother nailing a bullseye with a hatchet.
And the technique behind it, can you explain? Because
Indeed.
I've never done it before.
Indeed.
And my thought process is, I'm just going to pick up the axe and surely I can just throw it. It's not as easy as that, is it?
Can you do it off a horse?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I don't have a horse. Now,
Oh.
I can probably do it off a bicycle, but that's only because I live in Northside Dublin
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
confident of my skills.
Throwing stones.
That's it, yeah. It's pretty much anything can be thrown around that neck of the woods. But yeah, no, the technique, and there are some great athletes within my midst. This isn't just my experience or me feeling overly confident about it. I've spoken to quite a few that have performed in the World Championships, and yet there is such a thing. The guys who set up the axe throwing venue in Dublin and Wicklow, Matt Lavelle and Heath Dawson, they were over in Nova Scotia last September at the World Championships, and a lady who'd only started throwing in Ireland in 2018, Keola McGowan, she took the World Championship for the women's section.
Wow.
And so I've spoken with her about her technique and some of her war stories or anecdotes. And Heath, who set up axe throwing, he was, I think it was third in that World Championship. So he's been a wealth of information about the technique. And the most important thing I can tell all of you is that every movie you've ever seen, when everybody's all macho and roaring and shouting and just letting all their anger out, and it's all with the arm, this big muscular goddamn walking into the room shaking hands with Schwarzenegger at the start of Predator, arm. None of that is helpful. It's all about momentum and stepping into your throw in such a way that you are giving it consistent power. So when you step into your axe throw, you are releasing the axe after it's been gracefully brought forward by your arm. But your step forward allows for your body weight to be supported by your leg that steps forward. So your chest moves forward. It is supported by the step, and your body weight is then placed into the axe, and the potential energy is sent right toward the target, and that gives it the same spin, the same power, and you can be more accurate then.
Right.
How accurate can you be?
For me,
Well, no, in general, like, have you seen The Patriot?
which one, sorry?
The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Oh God, yeah, loads
So,
of times. Are you talking specifically about the aim small, miss small scene? Because I watched that shit on slow mo.
No, that's when they have the rifles. But remember, Heath Ledger's after being taken by the Redcoats, and one of them is holding him and knife to his throat, and Mel Gibson throws his whatever axe he has and hits your man square in the forehead.
Oh, aye.
Like, could you be that accurate? Like a person that's good at
Absolutely, yeah. A person that's good enough at it. There's two locations on the top of targets that are used for tomahawk or hatchet throwing ranges. The range is usually about 12 foot. That's about, I think, about the distance that he was at there. And sorry for using the old imperial system. I tried to look this stuff up in metric, but everything is in feet when it's a North American sport that's kind of spread across the West. But yeah, about that distance away. And this is like, I'm speaking not only from what I can do on a good day, but a lot of the instructors I work with, and even some of the savants you get coming in that have never picked up a hatchet before. After an hour, there's these two spots on the top of the target, on the top right and the top left. Over in the States, it's called the kill shot because it's pretty much just head height, and it's about the size of, a €2 coin, maybe a little bit bigger. And splitting that in two is what gets you 10 points in the final round of our competitions. Now, you can just graze the paint of that area and still get your 10 points, but you want to split it in two.
Yeah, you want to split it in two.
But yeah, that scene in... I think it's the same in every hostage situation scene. They've got a knife to your throat and it's like, oh, if I kill him, but then somehow he slips and cuts his throat, blah, blah, blah. Like, Mel would have definitely gone for that shit. Like, come on. Like, he wouldn't have cared about Heath.
Another good trim man, by the way, Mel Gibson.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
say that, champ?
Big fan of trim.
Absolutely, Braveheart. We've gotten some longevity out of that.
And then in the championships, is it purely thrown, or is there like a tree part of it, section of
That's
it?
a really good question, Auntie Bertie. I'm not sure how every organisation does it, but like the woodsmanship, like where they have the chopping, they have the saw cutting, there's a whole array of stuff I wouldn't be too familiar with. But I'd imagine some part of those big festivities, because I'd say they're huge in Canada. Anybody done time in Canada yet?
No.
It's literally walk into a room of Irish lads our age. It's like, so which country did you emigrate to? But But yeah, over in Canada, these things are massively popular, and I'm sure that they would have axe throwing included.
Yeah.
But for ourselves, we're just happy with having an array of maybe the First Nations, so indigenous populations over in America, their version of a tomahawk, the Norse tomahawk or the Norse axe as such, the double bit, and for ourselves, a good old €10 Woody's hatchet. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Traditional. Tala Tools is who's giving us to. I don't know if they're sponsoring us, but I'm just going to.
They are now.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Do you pick up one and say, "Oh, that's like 10 ounces"?
Oh, I do
So
now.
have to do a certain.
Oh, the
like-
weight of this is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I just generally now am walking through like basically any hardware now, just with my hands in the handles. Like I don't know if you ever saw the movie Amelie, where she's talking about like all of the great things she likes to do on a daily basis. It's just her going to the markets and like sticking her hand in a bag of grain and being like, yeah. And that's me on front of the tool section in any hardware now. Like, oh, look at that Kydex handle. Oh yeah, oh, the rubber on that hammer. Oh, that'd just impede the release.
I'd say you freak out a few people in the hardware though. Like people are picking up axes to do the wood or whatever, and they see you in the corner pretending to throw it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Hold on, what are you guys doing on your off days? Like, are you not going to hardware and fantasizing about tools you'll never buy?
Definitely tool touching anyway, yeah. Come here to me. Could you put axe throwing into the category of self-defense as well? Could it be used in that way?
To be honest, I don't know. It's obviously anything that you refine as a discipline could be utilized in an emergency situation
see
just
the
through
RTE
muscle memory
news.
alone.
You wouldn't encourage it, but
I feel like that was me being like, anyone who would do that would be operating off of muscle memory, and they aren't culpable for anything then. But it's definitely more of just a technique that you can use on the range, because there's not really real life situations where you'd be given time to like take a step,
Yeah,
put
to
your
let it-
momentum, do all that stuff, but also. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure everything is illegal to carry in Ireland other than a
Yeah.
penknife. Like
Yeah,
having that hatchet to begin with is going to be a hard
I'm
thing to
trying to
explain
imagine
away.
the story of how a girl saved her life. But she was about to be what's the word? Robbed on a street
Mugged.
in Dublin.
Yeah.
I'm
And
more,
the story
I'm more
is-
Go for a walk.
Yeah.
I'm more imagining Benny asleep and has the hand on the axe under the pillow, just waiting for someone to come into the room, and then just chucks it like that. He's not denying it.
Before
That's
his
what I'm
eyes
saying.
are open.
There are a remarkable increase in the amount of hatchets that are in my home now after working in this environment. So yeah, you're not a million miles away.
So
The thing about that, you don't need a license. Would that does that up the popularity of it? Because obviously it's you say about a range and its targets, and you know, is it cheaper than obviously a gun like a rifle to go shooting? You obviously don't you need a safe at home for a rifle? You need a license for a rifle, ammunition for a rifle.
Yeah.
But then an axe is, or whichever you throw is.
I love how we're interpreting this, because it definitely shows the different environments I guess we're all coming from, because even though I know we're all countryside men in some way, shape or form, like I still look at an axe or even a knife after working in bushcraft or just camping myself. I just see a hand tool. Like I don't see a weapon. And it would be a very, very odd circumstance for me to ever change that mindset, just because of how much I enjoy using tools in nature that are intended for, like the axe is probably the second oldest tool, well, third oldest tool in the world. First was the rock, second was the knife, third was the axe, because we needed to use these tools in order to make shelter, to make food, to get by. And not that I'm trying to get all philosophical again, I love that word, it
Please
seems.
do.
But it's just that when we talk about using these habits or making them into a hobby, we're kind of just tapping back into something that we kind of evolved to do. Using our hands in this manner is definitely more appealing than tapping away at a keyboard to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Go on.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say what struck you is about the axe throwing that wasn't like archery. Is it just that it was local to you fell into it, you found it, or as you said, because it's more of like a tool and you like using it?
No, I'd absolutely do both. I have a recurve bow that I actually keep in the back office of the axe tub, but I don't use it on the targets because they're planks, and the targets for archery are usually some sort of a wattle or waffle or stacks of hay with a large big A3 printout of somebody on it. I don't know. If anyone wants to get me a couple of stacks of hay and an A3 printout of a few people that have requested, I would just DM me, alright? But yeah, like it's just the archery is a huge side of it. Actually, it's a great segue. Not that I keep trying to drive the bushcraft side of it, but in the Wicklow side, Heath and Nick, who is relatively new to our team as well. Nick's an absolute gentleman, and Heath has been an absolute just a godsend in terms of advice, and just another gentleman as well. But they provide bushcraft instruction, but they also have this Viking Fire and Blade session where you can book to go axe throwing. You'll throw the double bit, so the big lumberjack axe. There are specific rules to throwing that axe as well in regards to the rotation and how it sticks in the board. We can get into the nitty gritty of it for when we get into the talking about how to win as opposed to just be accurate.
Right.
But the Viking Fire and Blade option is something that essentially includes axe throwing with multiple kinds of axes. So if you want to get your Norse tomahawk going, or but on top of that, you also have archery that's included, and this is the coolest part for me. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do it, but a flint and steel to light a fire. Ever had to do that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was at the fire festival up in the Hill of Ushnock for the celebration of Bealtaine there a couple of weeks ago, and I bought a flint and steel, and very quickly realised I'd never goddamn use it. Like, lighters exist, lads. These things are impossible. Like, on a windy day in Ireland when it's damp, me hole. Not a chance.
It's not happening. So keep a lighter on you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the opportunity to just learn how to light a fire in a traditional way, use a bow, throw an axe, and also, like everything now, it comes with a bit of pizza. So if you head out to the Wicklow venue, they have a little kind of a pizza oven and this lovely little venue.
Where in Wicklow is it?
Just out beside Lara, there's a little car park there before you head toward Glendalough.
Yeah.
And I would definitely recommend just check out Axe Club Dub on Instagram. That's our tag, and any of the axeclub.ie website for all the geolocations. But yeah, it's a great way to like have an excuse to head out to Roundwood, have a bite to eat.
And look, I suppose fair play to you, like, because the impact you've made in the sense of bringing awareness to axe throwing. Like, you were on Ireland AM recently. Like, tell us about that. You were
we were very lucky. Thanks for actually bringing that up, John, because it was all thanks to, I think, in my opinion, a huge amount of it props goes to Keola McGowan for taking the. Oh,
Jesus.
There we are.
Sorry.
Beg your pardon, guys.
Scotty.
I have sorry on Ireland AM there. Sorry, just for the.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, that was a funny one. I didn't realise I was going to be on live TV. I was telling Owen just as we got in here that was I was like, you guys were on Ireland AM. I was like, I kind of wasn't aware of how that was going to play out. I thought I was just delivering the mobile range to a movie studio.
Where you didn't know you were going to be on it.
No,
wow.
No, not to the extent that I was. And as soon as I got wind of that, I was like, I should probably go on Instagram, put out a story, say I'm on it, tell my mammy, all that kind of stuff.
We watched it and you oozed passion for it. Like, you oozed enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is like contagious in the sense that it made me want to go axe throwing. Like, I think if there's anybody else talk about axe throwing, axes are great.
I love the way he said, like, he wasn't prepared to be on Ireland AM, but yet he's in like a leather jacket with the fur on and the red and black like flannel shirt. Like, come on now, Benny, come on, tell the truth.
I'll have you know, I was this close to wearing that exact outfit again today because I only have two outfits, guys. All right.
It's like a trademark, is it? Axe throwers.
I think what I can honestly say is I bought that jacket on Henry Street in the weird shop that sells all the weird like replica pilot, and I just needed a winter jacket. Well, funny story actually on the back of what you guys did last week with the Pucker ride, was it, when you were talking about the bike to work scheme? I bought that jacket because I bought one of those little e-bikes that gives you no exercise as part of the bike to work scheme to get to and from Leakslip when I used to work for the semiconductor company, and that was a 50-kilometer round trip. So that was my I'm going through the what would you call it? I think it was the Royal Canal pathways at 5 a.m. in frost, and that was my I'm wearing the warmest goddamn jacket I could get on my minuscule amount of money outfit, and now it seems to work really well for axe throwing.
Yeah, and that's a portable thing, is it? That was on Ireland. That's what you bring around.
Indeed,
things,
I'll bring it back up there. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, the mobile range has been mighty crack in terms of setting it up. It's still finding its form as regards like people feeling they could actually utilise it. It's not as simple as setting up a bouncing castle or some other things that can be unpacked. So we need about 12 metres by 12 metres of space and access for something that is about, I think it's 3.5 meters high, 3.2 meters high, about that.
Right.
So it just means it's like a local sports pitch, anywhere that can usually take a container on a long flatbed trailer.
Right.
That height, in terms of your own mind's eye, for anyone who's curious, that's perfectly suitable. So hotels, car parks, sports grounds. Generally, if you've got something local to you that has had a truck drive into it, we can take the mobile range into it.
Right.
What's the story with insurance on it? That's what everybody is worried about now with like things like that, isn't it?
we have our own insurance. I don't know what way that's the boss man's organisation. You'd think I would have set up this entire company solo, my man. I throw axes for a living. I despise bureaucracy. But I know that we're fully insured up to 5 million in terms of public liability, and that could be doubled if needed depending on the event. And we can host pretty much any amount of people. So it, like I said, it's all about the space that we're provided. I'll be doing a gig this Thursday for, I think, upwards of about 40 people in a local sports ground. So that's going to be a good little demo. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of where we have a good trick shots. I see Owen is scrolling through, and I'm like, I'll plug a few of the good ones.
But do you know what I
there.
like about it? It's like achievable
There's the
with
Irish
little,
Open.
little input of money. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a great example. And I know you guys are very creative in what you can do with your, well, if you're passionate about something and you feel like you can pursue it. Like, I know you've been dealing with like distilleries, John, so you've looked at gin. Bertie, I know you've been involved in personal training for years. Owen, you're passionate about movies, studios, and providing people with an asset to actually engage in their passions about music and every aspect of it. And there's Heath there standing on the top spot. That gentleman there, absolute gent. And I honestly, and there's Ashley as well, just down to his right. I think he took one of the top spots. I didn't have a chance actually to go to the Irish Open. I was at a music festival instead.
Right.
An alcohol-free one, actually. It was very,
very nice.
Yeah, it was very therapeutic.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We know it'd be great to do the Axe Drone Effective Mill. That'd be a great spot, wouldn't it?
That is a great idea. Yeah.
You guys should team up or do something at Effective Mill. That'd be awesome.
I understand you had Miss
Sinead on one time.
Yeah,
and
wonderful.
she's very like enthusiastic in the sense of doing different things and getting random things. Like
really admirable level
she
of
had
passion.
snails and slugs. Yeah, great story. You should go and listen to that.
Absolutely.
Well, do you know there's another person from the podcast who is teaming up with her, our cacao friend.
Oh yeah,
is going out to Debective Mill as well.
Look at the JB Waffle Hour connecting people.
The networking thing.
It's hilarious actually. Within I think it was a week of you having Sinead on, I was actually at that festival and I was speaking to a guy who is one of several members. I think it's himself and his brother, but Daryl is this gentleman's name, and he's part of Wolf Academy Ireland, where he does outdoor instruction for a lot of young men as such, ages 14 to 19, just basically an excuse to like really touch base,
get outdoors,
but also get lads chatting again. Like I don't know what technology's done to everyone now, but I know in our generation it was already pretty easy to just cut like out socializing entirely, and so engaging kids in that manner is great. But as soon as you guys had Sinead on, I saw that she had actually hosted himself, Daryl, there for a breath workshop, and it's everybody's connected. Good God.
Should we do a traditional JB Waffle Hour commitment?
Oh right, what are we doing now? One that we don't stick to, is
yes, that we will go and try axe throwing at some point.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you guys in.
Yeah, sure.
Scroll up there and you'll see the venue and you'll understand why I'm saying this is such a wonderful spot for a city centre occupant to be. If you want to scroll down a wee bit.
Oh, was it the one I passed?
Yeah, whatever that GIF is there, or the... So this just shows, like, obviously there's 3 ranges. That's one half of the actual venue's range area, so it's 6 ranges in total. That's Matt, one of the founders. But when you pull out there, you'll see how big the space is, and if you're stuck in a space where maybe you don't want to go to the pub, or also it's expensive to go to the pub, we have a members night for 2 hours every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. I think it's €27 to become a member for the month, which does kind of sound expensive, but to be honest, Everton really is a rip-off now.
Not much.
It's going since 2010 as well, is it?
The guys established it in 2010. I'm trying to remember exactly. It was 2017 they set up the Dublin venue. Okay. It's a hilarious story. I tried to plug this on the Ireland AM sketch, but or the set. The guys literally just got into this, and this is just something everybody listening to this really should pay attention to. The guys just went to a couple of farmers markets with one target and a couple of axes, and organised themselves in such a way that they could do the disclaimers and get people throwing. And now they're running several setups where they are able to really like engage in something creatively. So this is not something that's ever set in stone, other than making sure we're always doing everything safe. Everything is always open for discussion and creative ideas on how to make it engaging. Like
This is their full-time gig, like this is
Oh,
what
yeah.
they set up.
But it's small seeds like that, little ideas, like with the music school we're in at the moment was
Nice.
just me going around houses, teaching guitar and teaching drums, and now it's this. Like the same with the axe throwing, like
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
even the littlest ideas. If you have an idea of something, take a chance on it and find a way to make it happen.
Yep.
Even if it's a small version of it, it'll grow. You know.
And the guys there with that venue, I know I keep skipping through some of the scenes, but the venue itself is basically a bar on the outside where we have our tea, coffee, soft drinks, all that.
All right, cool.
And then there's a small gas fire there from, I believe it was borrowed from the set of Vikings when they had the guys on for the stunt double work when they were doing some axe throwing there. But the gas fire is just the same as the fires that you would have seen in Ragnar's Longhouse, but in the show Vikings. But then they have a nice little area over to the corner with a couple of pelts on it.
There's a bit of artificial grass.
there.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that.
we love the AstroTurf.
Where'd you get that now?
More legs coming up.
I don't want to be talking about your competitors now, John. But if you have a good line on some artificial grass, now I'd happily push
Did
it
that axe
forward.
die, did it?
Which?
Did that axe die, did it? Chalk outline.
Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Actually, that's a great part of it. Now, obviously, it was just put in for an insignia at some point, but now we actually lay a hatchet onto each one of them at every league night. When we have a new person in, or if we have somebody who's recently had their time beaten, so on each one of those hatchets or the white outlines, there's 6 hatchets or 6 out of 6 white outlines across the range. We put a hatchet down on each, and then we have a dartboard on the other side of the venue, and we have this thing called the Blood Eagle, where you have to do it all in under a minute. The more seconds you have on the clock after you've done it, the more points you can get for the seconds. And basically you throw 5 darts at the dartboard, sprint up to the range, and then have to throw all 6 axes, and the axes must stick in the boards for the clock to stop.
Right.
And we call it the Blood Eagle because one of our members is a massive Eamon Amarat fan, and Blood Eagle was the namesake of the first song that was ever played while we did it.
Right. Okay.
And the role of everybody who wants to compete is to find their favourite jam that has a good solid start to it, about
Strawberry.
30 to 50 seconds of pure energy so that they can get this done.
Right.
I did realise when I started choosing Flash by Queen that it's way too much dialogue, man. Yeah. You're waiting 2 minutes before that kicks
the
off.
whole movie before the song even starts.
That would
That's
be a
fantastic.
great for Marvel or DC, Blood Eagle. Like the axe throwing
I love it.
superhero.
There's something very cathartic about the whole vibe, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like it's you can feel the Viking energy coming through, can't you?
Yeah.
Or the
has
Celtic
that-
energy.
Like, let's say 4 people that, like, it has that kind of rugged, tough man kind of stuff. Like, let's say for people that would think axe throwing sounds dangerous. Like, let's say we went to that and I was scared of throwing. I'm not scared of throwing.
Okay, yeah.
But let's say people
Hypothetically,
were
John,
hypothetically,
let's talk
if a guy,
hypothetically.
how safe is it? Like, is there a guy standing behind you? Like, what? Like, because I've
Fantastic
seen a YouTube
question.
video where a girl threw it and the
Yeah.
axe went flinging past her
Well,
head backwards.
Indeed, and unfortunately, because of social media and the fact that bad news travels faster than any other kind of news, there is a lot of horror stories from horror stories. There's a lot of 15-second clips that are absolutely terrifying, is the right way to say it. But we throw in a very different way in Ireland and Europe in general than a lot of those clubs that are the ones that are responsible for those clips. In fact, I think there's one where a lady managed to hit a handle and the axe bounced back off the floor, but like there's a rubber mat on the floor. The handle of the axe is rubber. And you're just like, who did the risk analysis on this? Like, was the risk assessment ever even done? But then you look deeper into it and you just see that these are clubs that pop up all over the place in countries with a less than safe record for, like, say, firearm management.
Right, yeah.
So, not to point fingers, but
Or name names.
We get it.
I'm trying to dance around all this, but
Things can happen anywhere, even in the gym. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll have accidents like that. People get a medicine ball and think it's a slam ball and go to hit the ground and it bash them in the face.
Yeah.
So if you
You
go,
got any videos of that?
yeah, there is.
Yeah, stick them up.
So like in everything you go to,
Yeah.
there's obviously people who have made mistakes and things like that, but that doesn't mean like it's dangerous and stuff. Doesn't
well,
mean
the
people are
gentlemen
stupid.
that started this have made sure safety is paramount,
Yeah,
and
good to know,
since
good to know.
since 2010 they have a 100% safety record of all their events, as far as I understand it, or at least that's one of the things that I took the role for. Once I realised how serious they were about making sure this was a
Do you
positive
send
event.
do you send a minibus around picking up people?
as in
That's a real stag thing. That's
No,
what you're
just-
saying.
Just saying about our experience.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
do you like picks people up in the city and then drive them to the city? I
Okay,
suppose.
to explain really quickly what they're talking about, we went to Prague and we went shooting guns, and
We
As
got
you
picked
do.
up in this nondescript minivan.
yeah,
By-
We got
Right.
brought many
By-
miles outside the city.
by a guy that looked like he was in the movie Taken.
and by any chance did this guy like the range was in like a underground part of a house, like you wouldn't see it from the outside
there was too many kids around for
It
my
was-
liking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was in between a school and a basketball court.
It was ridiculous. Absolutely
I had a
ridiculous.
similar experience in Prague, and I have to admit that the range discipline over there was also a bit terrifying
Yeah.
for my liking.
Yeah.
Pointing guns at each other and laughing was way too acceptable.
Take a photo. Take a photo.
yeah, exactly.
But actually, when you mentioned just for anyone who is hesitant about going over to any of our venues as such,
Yeah.
like we always have an instructor who's basically we call it lifeguarding, where they're always observing what's going on, encouraging people in and out of the range, making sure people are collecting at the same time, so there's no risk of anyone walking down range while an axe is flying. All of that is managed, but the most important thing is we actually give people a really good introduction about the technique, and then we give them lots of time to have fun and kind of get the giggles out and the fear out. Like one of the worst things to witness is when someone goes to throw an axe and before they've even released the axe, they're running away from the range. Like if anything's going to follow you now, dear, it's because you're still holding on to the axe you were supposed to throw. But and I mean that ungendered. I'm talking to any bloke or woman out there who just simply hasn't had a chance to use hand tools before, and the fear gets them.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we have fun on the range as such, I'm more concerned with people like finally getting the axe to stick than whether or not they're afraid, because of how we've set everything up. Okay, and everybody comes in like initially and it's like, oh, the adrenaline, oh, my heart is pumping, oh god, I'm terrified of this. A lot of the guys come in and mask that. And instead they're just terrible for a while before they listen to you talk about the technique. You just want to throw with their arm and just fire it at the board.
I did this when I was 9.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
But all you can do is work with every patron in a manner that ensures that they have a fun time.
Yeah.
Because that's the end of it as well. Like it is great to pick up a skill. And we do have sessions that go from an hour on the weekend. So like it's an open session on the weekend. Anybody, any number of people up to 20 people will book for 1 hour, and you'll be mixed with strangers.
Right.
So you might not always be familiar with the people beside you. And you could come in solo. You could come in with a family of, all your parents and your siblings rock in. It's like, oh, there's a family get together. It's a surprise. I love when that happens. By the way,
Yeah, it's an awesome
like
idea.
that's
a
wicked.
really good one.
Yeah, lovely group of sisters. 2 sisters came in with their parents the other day, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't tell them anything," and like, I've never seen such exhilaration within like a family before.
Class.
And you know how us Irish folks, we're pretty bad at showing like love for our families. We're pretty closed off, so it's probably the sincerest form of I love you. We're gonna go and throw lots of stuff at the wall and let all of our restraint go. Anyway, but like for the open sessions on the weekends, that's great. But also we do private sessions during the week.
What's
whether it's
the age limit? Like, do you have baby access?
18 and up, just for Ireland and such. But in the World Championships, they have a junior section, and Heath was showing me they have these lovely tiny little hatchets for orchard work in Spain. I can't remember the name for the actual hatchet, and they are amazingly good for kids to throw. But all I can say is Axe Club is only for 18s and above at present.
Right, okay.
We'd love to expand it, but obviously we
idea.
have to make sure health and safety is paramount. Archery, though, I think it might be a different story, and I would always encourage people to just engage with the I think it's info@axeclub.ie email address on the website. Just simply give us an email and say what your requirements are, and the very least we can send you in the right direction, or maybe find something that's a nice workaround.
Yeah.
Bit of food, or is there food down next door? Like if you,
We
would you
love
make a
our
day out
pizza
of it,
place.
Pizza?
We have a local pizza
Stone baked?
place. Oh yeah.
No
Oh,
better.
God. I don't know about you guys, but the selection of pizza in Ireland has skyrocketed
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
last 10 or
Yeah.
15 years.
They
Like,
do a
the
good
quality-
job lately.
Oh yeah. Serious.
Do you have a video game version?
So this is something actually I remember pitching this when I first started, because during lockdown I picked up one of those VR headsets, and there was a game that was exclusive to Oculus, which is one of the headsets that basically Facebook owns, and the very fact that I basically have a 3-dimensional camera in my house that Facebook has access to just it disturbs me. But on one of these exclusive games, there's a game called Wrath of Asgard. So very Viking themed.
Yeah.
And out of this massive, expansive virtual reality adventure, my favourite part was this tavern where you go and pick up quests and you could throw axes with a bunch of dwarves. It really worked really well during lockdown when there was no pubs open. I had a virtual reality pub I could go to. But I don't know if there's like this is the thing about it. I think people want the visceral feeling of actually doing something physical.
You know, like there's like the golf simulators where you like hit the ball, hits the screen, but it shows you where it's projected, where it could go. I just wondered, was there?
Well, if there's any game designers out there who are creative, I remember thinking when I first started the mobile range that it'd be amazing to have a projector with an interactive game of like a shield wall coming at you.
Sure,
That'd be good for the kids, you see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. There's
little
another
foam
workaround.
axes.
Yeah.
I love that.
You'd have some
Business
kind
number
of
2.
like, I know,
Absolutely.
glove kind of thing on you that would like feel like you had the axe, and then you throw and you see it hitting the screen.
Indeed. Yeah.
There you go.
One of the things actually that was on this weekend, or last weekend, the last 2 days, I believe, was in Slane Castle. There was a Viking reenactment. Basically, just a living history group, all varieties of people that were going there with gear that was accurate to the 11th century. And I just wonder, was there any axe throwing going on there? I didn't get a chance.
Did you miss the boat there and get the axe?
I was supposed to attend, but unfortunately had some other commitments.
Oh no!
I went out to was out in Tala that the guys were training. The Dove Lynn Ostman is the name of the group that trains out there, but they're basically living history Vikings. They do all the stuff as accurate as possible.
Right.
Great anecdote actually. So there's this dude that came over from Texas to visit them, who's real passionate about European history and specifically medieval war in terms of like the combat styles and all that. And as a Texan, he had his own stuff.
Of course he did.
Great state, Texas.
But he came over to visit the guys while I was at one of their training setups. So it's just basic training, shield, sword, kind of get the basics of how to operate in a shield wall, and also just a bit of fun. Again, I'm beginning to just sound like someone who just hates the gym. Like that's I will do anything other than be bored listening to a headset, looking after myself. Like, but injuries actually are very uncommon in this situation. People are very respectful and they know their technique. But this guy rocks in. He's just chatting to Philly, who is the guy who was running that particular sect of I suppose living history warriors, and they having a chat about fighting styles and all this, and this guy challenges. Basically, Philly is not only a passionate historian and loves his medieval war, he's also a really good MMA guy. And they have this challenge to like a knife fight. Now, I've never seen such a flurry of like knife and blade fists around a guy ever, but they're both wearing chainmail, so the weight on this guy is like already incredibly just difficult to move in. And after that he realised like, okay, no, I'm dealing with somebody who actually knows combat in many ways. But afterwards we're all chatting and he's really just this awesome respectful dude, and he's telling us basically how he got into this and how he picked up all of his gear and how passionate he is about being in a place where the history is literally under his feet. The wars that have been fought here, countless people have like lived and died with the kind of lifestyle that he admires. And then he tells us about his armour, which he wore on the plane all the way. Went through customs, the whole lot.
What?
The shipping was monumentally expensive. He couldn't put it into the luggage, all that kind of crap. So he just was like going through the TSA checkpoints over in Texas, getting onto a plane wearing full chainmail armour.
No way.
The whole lot. The only thing he packed in the suitcase was the swords.
How the hell did he get them through?
I have no idea. Like, I wanted to pick his brain for longer, but I started thinking it was some sort of what's it called when they do a
Puncture or something.
But yeah, like there's such a variety of people who are engaging in like off the wall stuff nowadays that are all kind of going back to our Celtic roots or our historical roots. Like you mentioned earlier, but like, or at least John, you were saying with the matcha side of it, we were saying the Viking vibes. But it's more like it's Celtic history to have, or historians out there are probably scoffing at me by saying this, but it's just when you go back 2,000 or 3,000 years in this country, there would have been a huge amount of shows of skill at festivals. Like I was very lucky there. I went to Mana Festival in Bulurgan Park, which was hosted by the wonderful people who put Fwynham on, which is a bigger festival in September. But when I was at Mana Festival, it was glorious. I came out of the tent. It was a real nice just vibe. Everything was really chill. There was nobody drinking at it. It was more workshops and talks and just generally seeing a lot of great bands. Bog Bodies, by the way, phenomenal. Tau, sweet as well. But also Kevin, goddamn legend. But I came out of the tent, so because the reason I'm saying these names is I got to know everyone because it was a tiny festival and all the bands and the gigs, everything was happening in front of you. Came out of the tent, And I see 3 lads, one the fire performers, one the multi-instrumentalist, and the sound technician who was also running the show pretty much the back, all playing hurling together in the middle of the campsite. Probably the same way that it would have been done thousands of years ago when people were just showing off their discipline, their skill, having the crack, running around the place and doing it in a deciduous forest as old as time itself for the island. And it's just all these things have a little bit of, I don't know, nostalgia value because we all grew up hearing stories of the Fina. Like it's kind of like our version of seeing whatever, I don't know, when South Park was doing the member berries about like Disney just recycling all this crap over and over again. But for people in Celtic countries, whether it's northern Spain, Ireland, Wales, all the parts of the world that still have this ancient history in our blood, when we hear these stories and then we get to throw an axe at the wall, it is those member berries, it is that nostalgia. There's a nice vibe to it.
Definitely. It's a great persona then for the axe throwing business anyway. Definitely you're putting it across like it's
I'm sold.
Hardcore like
Johnny in the morning now is going to go and pick up a few axes. That's just how he works.
If you guys ever wanted to consider just bailing in there to give it a go and then like you can report back, or
we'll organise something. We will.
That's deadly. Do you want to wrap it up with anything you want to promote coming up, or?
Well, thank you very much. I was really hoping this would be more of a bit of banter than actually advertising. But in terms of just, for anyone who is curious about it, if you are based anywhere in Leinster, just email the guys and see what works for you. It could be a special party. We could do anything up to like a 4-hour event in terms of the bushcraft stuff out in Wicklow. Pizza parties generally are something that are always great. We are a non-alcohol area as such, or like our venues are 0 alcohol tolerated before or during our throwing sessions. But if you want to organise something, we can always, put your cans in the fridge for after. And stag parties and the hen parties are absolutely phenomenal there. But if you're planning a birthday, or if you're just looking for some way to maybe join up with mates that you haven't seen in a while, the Dublin City Centre venue is a great spot because we're right beside most public transport. So if someone's hopping off the plane and you're like, oh, I've got an idea, and they're like, I haven't slept in ages, or I'm sick of drinking. It's a great spot. And to be honest, we just love seeing people rock in with such variety of interests, and helping them actually just getting that bullseye is a pretty satisfying thing. Maybe this is what therapists actually feel like. Because that's like what we're kind of doing. A lot of people are bottling stuff up, so let it out in the rain.
Do you cut the pizzas with the axe?
We have a pizza axe, yes.
Yes, this is the reason of the podcast.
I love it.
To be honest, there's not many things in Axe Club that haven't been somehow made out of an axe. Even our toilet roll holders are small axes.
Do you shave your beards with an ultra shaved axe?
I've been looking for the one that's been advertised to me. The
I've seen it somewhere.
That's so cool.
Class.
Right, Bert, what did we go on to?
And just to finish off, he also works in the zoo. Anyway, let's move on.
Actually, sorry, just before, because birthdays after, like, the most important thing to me actually at the moment is the fact that Axe Club gives me the freedom to actually work in a lot of conservation charities. Going to the zoo, as Bertie just dropped there, like, my Instagram is pretty much just me trying to always engage people that I may know indirectly in charity events that are associated with environmental conservation in Ireland. And the bushcraft is one of the things that I've desperately missed over the years. So if you feel like getting involved in being outdoors, being in the environment, a great start, rather than putting pressure on yourself to just keep doing everything, like recycling, washing the glass out of it, or washing the recycling out, and doing all the stuff that's a bit of like just the drudgery of it all. Bushcraft I'd highly recommend as a start, because it's definitely what keeps me going with the Gaelic Woodland Project, which are legends. Great guys that are setting up a charity. They've already raised €32,000 and they're going to be planting a forest to commemorate the Irish famine and the diaspora of Irish people that have spread across the globe. So that's something that's ongoing that I do. So Gaelic Woodland Project, if you're a fan of axe throwing, you'll be a fan of them. And working with Dublin Zoo has gotten me in touch with a huge amount of conservation projects and other volunteers. Again, all this stuff feels so much easier when you're part of a community. Like, we're not alone in any of our kind of pursuits, but we're all struggling to find a way to bring it up in conversation.
So last week we had Double Decker versus Whisper, and I was actually spelling Whisper wrong because there's no H. It's not Whisper, it's Whisper.
Oh yeah, right.
I thought we
I didn't know that.
I thought we knew this already. No.
Because I searched it and I was like, there's a H in it? I didn't think there was a H in it. So then I put a H in it, and then I seen the wrapper on the thing. I'm thinking, there is no H in it.
Whisper.
But I googled it and it said Whisper. But when you looked at the packet, it said Whisper.
Oh, it must have been a change. They've changed it over at some stage.
Maybe it's a different country.
Off-brand
like,
Whispers.
like Cool
Yeah,
Whip.
maybe, yeah. You got them in Aldi, did you?
Cool
So
Whip.
Whisper did win 60, 63.
Hold on, that was closer than it should have been. I'm going to say that.
63, 37.
Oh, was that the week before, maybe?
No, the week before it.
Double decker one. I can't believe that.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was double decker. What was that last week or the week before?
No, that was the first one. Double decker and boost.
All right, that one was
it?
too
No,
close.
that was boost and picnic. Double decker was Whisper.
Yeah, double decker and whisper. That was closer for a little while
Oh,
longer.
it was.
than it should have
Yeah, it
been.
was like 50-50 there for the first few votes.
I'm just going to do a shout out here. Keith Peppard
Hmm.
voting for double decker. Come on, man.
Keith.
Seriously,
Let us down
definitely
here.
Whisper.
ridiculous.
Letting down a
Absolutely ridiculous.
generation.
I'd ask you to explain yourself. DM
Yeah.
us and let us know why you went for a double
So
decker. there.
we are now
Crazy
on the
man.
other side of the bracket. So
Right.
we've gone
Oh,
down
first
that
side's
side,
done.
and now we're on to the right hand side.
Ooh.
And the first one, this is going to be a tough one because I like both of these. So we've
Yeah.
Kit Kat, which is Nestle,
Yeah.
and we've Lion Bar, which is Nestle.
Oh, both
Mhm.
Nestle.
Yeah, so we've hit a lot of
We
calories.
don't like Nestle, don't we not?
So
It's. I mean, when we get to the quarterfinals time or semi-finals, whatever it is, you're going to get a lot more Cadbury's versus Nestle.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to start kicking off then.
I think so. So we've Kit Kat versus Lion Bar.
Right, go on,
So,
get stuck in there.
As Cadbury's usually has some kind of purple team, Nestle just like throws that out the window and has no team because Kit Kat is red and Lion Bars are brown and yellow with a picture for lion.
What would be the flagship Nestle bar? What's the big one?
One of these, surely, no?
I'd imagine
Kat?
maybe a Kit Kat. Would it be?
You know, have a break, have a Kit Kat.
Is Yorkie
That's
Nestle?
iconic.
York is Nestle, yeah.
Yorkie's a big one too.
Yeah, but remember they kind of had that little faux pas around 2010 where Yorkies weren't for girls.
That was yeah.
And that kind of tanked a little bit. Imagine bringing that out now.
Oh, you couldn't.
my God.
Oh,
you
jeez.
couldn't. You couldn't.
I like the biscuit and raisin one, but that's for a different week. So now we seem to be on a bit of a budget this week because we only have one Kit Kat and 4 fingers, but we have 4 mini lime bars.
Yes. Well, 4 fingers. Like, who wants to eat 2 fingers?
Ridiculous. Open that yolk. Will
Where
you,
would
so
your
you
other
can
finger
eat
go?
them.
1 finger
Just
each.
Okay.
Stop it. This is ridiculous.
So I am now currently breaking the Kit Kats. Okay, there's the Kit Kat broke. This is how I like Kit
Probably
Kats.
should have broken it up nearer the mic because that's a whole
Yeah.
one of their advertisement
no.
things.
Well, we can
Did you
all
break
do
all
that
4 of them?
individually. No, I broke them in the middle where you're meant to break them to
Oh.
share them. Like
Right. Okay.
now, this would be how I would like my Kit Kats to be presented to me
Okay.
in the 4. I don't like the Kit Kat Chunky. The Kit Kat
Nah, I
Chunky
wouldn't be a fan
tastes
either.
different to the Kit Kat sticks.
It does.
or
Too much
fingers.
chocolate, I think.
Tell you.
I
completely
kind of like
different.
the chunky ones. I have to say. So we're going.
Each
okay.
to their own.
Well, thank you.
My hashtag my break. By the way, it says on it for some reason. Let's see if I can break it.
Yeah, have to change the thing. No,
Oh, can you hear that? You couldn't hear it.
I couldn't hear mine.
can you break it?
Oh, it's good now.
Snap.
I can hear that one.
See, I have a different mindset on Kit Kats. I think Kit Kats are
Are they more of a biscuit than a bar?
they're catered towards the biscuit, like a tea.
Yeah.
Like you have it with tea or you have it as a snack. Whereas a Lion Bar is a treat.
Do you know the mini one, the 2-stick one?
Mm.
I have a mug at home that has like a compartment at the bottom to put your 2-stick Kit Kat in, so it melts.
What?
Yeah, it's cool.
That is
There you go.
very cool.
Now, as in all the calorie enthusiasts, we've named it before.
This is going to be tough. I'm not.
209
I'm
calories.
not feeling hopeful for Kit Kat. These guys are good.
Now, the only thing
Lion
is,
bars, yeah.
209 calories. That's for the full Kit Kat. There was
Mm.
low calories last week because there are mini ones.
So around
From the
50,
4-pack.
51 calories per stick.
Yeah.
Right. So
if you want to go, the only thing is now, say if you didn't want to feel bad, there is the possibility of only having one stick every so often.
No, there isn't.
No.
And I'm going to be honest about my implicit bias already. Like I know I'm picking Lion Bar because I just prefer them. But the picnic bar, is that also a Nestle one?
Picnic,
Picnic
Cadbury's.
was.
it's
was it?
Cadbury's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No,
Was
it
it?
was the purpley wrapper, wasn't
It
it?
does have a purpley look on it, but I'm just thinking to myself about where like these things kind of land as regards like if you want Kit Kat to win, you got to put something shit up against like Hershey's. Nobody
Yeah.
like Hershey's.
Oh, yeah,
God
yeah,
damn
yeah.
that horrible stuff.
Now,
like
each,
American
each
chocolates.
of these bars, because they're small bars, they're 146 kcals.
Look, even looking at it, it's not like it's gorgeous.
I can actually see why they
much
put them
more
up
in it.
against. They're similar enough looking on the inside, aren't they?
Well, there's biscuit in it.
I didn't realise there was that biscuity thing inside.
Yeah, well, that's how lime bars are made. But Kit Kats are just like pure biscuit and chocolate, where this is the, I presume it's caramel. So.
A little bit of caramel, yeah. Chocolate's
good.
pretty much the same.
Kit Kat versus Lion Bar. You see, the caramel kind of offsets it.
Yeah, it's not fair.
You can get a peanut version as well,
All right.
if that's something you're into.
Is it called the Snickers?
Okay, we
No,
voting.
lime bar peanuts.
Look, it's pretty easy. I think it's got to be Lion Bar for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lion Bar, yeah.
Lion Bar all right.
Okay.
Pure Kit Kat. That was a tough
draw.
yeah, very tough draw.
Party's
In
gonna
the first
put it up.
round as well.
Bertie can put it up in the stories.
Well, later on this morning, 10 o'clock. That's if you're listening to this at 7:02 a.m. on a Wednesday.
As many people do on their way to work in the city, and then on the lunch break they head in and throw some axes.
Hopefully. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Lion Bar all day long.
Yeah, I got one more plug actually for anybody who is looking at doing this and it's like, oh crap, I've looked at the website. There's none of this that's functional for my schedule. If you work in an office environment that has a car park, we're also open to doing corporate leagues where we'll be able to go to your business and bring pizza maybe and set up a setup where we're out in the back car park and your IT department can go up against the IT departments of the other familiar offices around the block. Your accounts team can go kick ass against the other accounts teams around the block. The HR department can come down and actually be axe people for once.
I love that. That was nice. I like it.
But yeah, like actually having something where it's a bit more suited to you is very optional now that we have the mobile range. And yeah, if you're stuck in the city and you're on your way and listening to this podcast, you're like, damn it, that's the one thing that won't work. We can make it work, guys. So yeah, have a great day.
Awesome, that is cool.
That's a very good idea. I love that. It's that time, you know the name. It's the reason we all came. Find the words that are the same. It's that time to play the waffle game.
Okay, Scotty, give me 30 seconds on the clock.
Let me get you a timer.
Oh, can I have a pen also? Just to
You
mark
can,
it down?
of course. You can, of course.
As I usually
Probably the
forget.
right time for me to tell everyone I've been conning everyone in my life into thinking I know stuff up until this point.
I've never thrown an axe. It's all CGI.
Okay, you ready?
No, hold on. So much. Okay, I'm
30
good to
seconds.
go.
Okay. So, Benny, you have 30 seconds to name the 5 axes I have on this page.
Oh, 5 axes. Okay, so double bit, tomahawk, bearded axe, carpenter's axe, halberd maybe. Now I've only got 10 seconds, so I'm going to take a breath and think about this.
That's it.
I've already mentioned tomahawk, Norse axe. Have I even named 5 yet? Double bit, halberd, Norse,
definitely named 5.
tomahawk, hatchet.
Time.
You just got one in there. In the
Damn
last
it!
thing.
See, don't trust me with Ant-Man. Why are you doing me
Jesus.
confident in me?
Yeah, there you go. False sense of confidence. Okay, so you got out of 5, you got 2.
You see, isn't it such a crazy
It's
thing?
a crazy thing.
Okay, so we have an East Wing Sportsman axe.
This is Nancy stuff, lads. Come on. All right.
Well, it's not a real axe.
If it's not a tool that's now being repurposed for a sport, if you're building it, like this is like talking to me about golf ball brands. Like, come on. Who's got the Titleist? No, I have the one that I stole from the corner of the dog leg down on.
We had Viking axe.
Okay, so yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that would have been the Norse one.
Yeah, you said hatchet.
Mm-hmm.
And you said carpenter's axe.
Mm-hmm.
And the one where isn't
That's it.
really an axe, but it's the curveball.
Oh man, that's just mean.
Pickaxe.
Probably should have been a smart arse who said it first. Here's me being all respectful, huh?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Now, would that have been a mattocks or a pickaxe? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
Mattocks is the broader back end.
I just googled axes.
and it came up as an axe, did it?
You
came up
trust
with an axe.
Google, man. Google's trying to take axes away from us. They want us all to just download an app for an axe.
The axe app. Now, you may or may not know this, but a butt is a real unit of measurement for a casket of wine. A butt load is about 108 imperial gallons, or 491 litres.
What?
I tell you,
A buttload of
John,
wine.
you can Google that.
That is
I don't think
unbelievable.
I'll even debunk that one. That sounds too crazy to be true.
What?
There
You're not
you
even
go.
going to try and debunk it?
No, I think it's true because it's so crazy.
It's
Favoritism. All right. There is a country apparently with no capital. So Nauru is the only country in the world without an official capital city. The government offices of the tiny Pacific island nation are located in the Yaren district. There are only 5 countries in the world without airports as well.
Oh,
There you go. So it's the only country in the world.
And we've 3. Oh, God, aren't we lucky?
Which?
We've 3.
3 countries.
4. No, 4.
You take with airports.
4 airports.
Oh,
sorry.
airports.
Mm.
All right. Okay.
Dublin, Cork, Shannon, Knock.
Donegal.
I know Donegal has one as well. That's a mini one.
Trim
isn't it?
Airfield
Yeah.
as well.
I
Yeah,
still
well, that's
remember
not-
going to. I was getting a plane back from Donegal. I went up there for an anniversary. I went to the Gaeltacht there. I love that part of the area. It's like around Guidor. There's a beautiful beach.
Yeah,
it's
it's
gorgeous. But going through the airport, I still had a bottle of whiskey from the duty free on the way over there, and just handing your bottle of whiskey to the man who works customs, and then we go like, oh yeah, I'll get rid of that for you. It was the high point of the holiday for me.
You didn't see it again then, no?
Oh God, no. But I got home. I was delighted. Yeah.
Right, John, go.
So I had to Google a shell bomb.
Okay.
Right? And it's something I actually didn't know, so I learned something. So hopefully you two will learn. He probably knows already.
Okay.
Now, and you can't answer this. So,
What's a question, is it?
yeah, well, no, it's a fact.
Who is Brendan's
What?
child?
What is the name? What's the traditional term of a handle of an axe? What's it called?
A buttock.
A buttock.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
The stubbing. Is
No,
it
it's
the
called-
stubbing?
Shaft.
The haft.
Oh, the
All right.
Yeah. Just without the S.
There's
No way.
more bits to it though. Like right at the base of the well, depending on the axe handle. If you've got the long singular one where it's like for the Viking axe, it's usually a single shaft or a haft. But like at the very base of it, you have the deer's hoof for the hatchet. So it's like it looks like a deer's hoof, but on the little kind of the curved area of it, that's the swell knob.